Similarly, I have a nice stretchy glove that I can stretch this way, but I'm not stretching all of it. It's not uniform. The machine, in fact, likes to squash and stretch rigid structures. So I have a rigid structure. This is a zone model of a zone ball. If you recognize the zone ball, we got rectangles and pentagons and triangles. So I want to squash or stretch this. I actually have to tell the machine how to do it. To do that, I need to have a model of the input, which I'll use this for, and a model of the output. This is going to fully specify how I'm going to squash or stretch my shape. I've got 3 blue orthogonal blue struts, if you can see. And here I have a blue, a red, and a yellow. I still have 2 right angles, but one angle is not a right angle anymore. So I'm going to put those in the configuration panel. Now the machine's ready to work. So we're going to put in the input, the input hopper, actuate the machine. And here we have the output. Okay. So we have clearly squashed, not stretched, right? And we can notice some particular things. The nice thing about the zone struts here is that the colors really tell us a lot about what has happened. You can notice that there's 2 blue pentagons that really weren't affected at all. They just got closer together. Everything else pretty much was squashed in some way. We still have our rectangles, some pentagons, etc. And you can tell, actually, pretty obviously, that this thing has been squashed in a particular direction, right? These blue pentagons got closer together. We squashed in this direction. Well, that's a red strut direction in zone. That's a 5-fold axis. So you might be tempted to think, oh, maybe that's this red strut. But you'd be wrong. And this is why it's generally better when you're working with Dr. Matrix's machine to work with spherical structures. Because if you're working with cubes and parallelograms, parallelepipeds, they kind of obscure things. When you've got a sphere or an ellipsoid, it's really pretty obvious what's going on. So let's see if we can get back our blue zone ball. So I'm going to reverse the machine. Now this is the input hopper. Now this is the output hopper. I don't need to move these, but this is now the input model, and that's now the output model. So I'm going to put in my model here. Make sure it's situated right. And we're going to just actuate the machine. I really wish you guys could see inside here. It's amazing. It's really remarkable. And we have our blue model. So, what's going on here? I've taken a spherical object, right? Roughly spherical. I've smooshed it into sort of a non-spherical, but that's called an ellipsoid. And I've taken it back again from ellipsoid back to spherical. So there's something particular going on here. What Dr. Matrix's machine does is called a linear transformation in mathematical terms. Now that sounds complicated, but it's not really complicated because guess what? You already know what a linear transformation is. You just saw it. That's it. It takes spheres into ellipsoids. In fact, it takes ellipsoids into ellipsoids and back and forth. And it's fully characterized. Any particular transformation is fully characterized by what it does to a sphere. Okay? Now, let's see if we can get this thing now stretched as well. Okay? I'm still in stretch mode. That's good. So I'm going to put this into the input again. Remember, it was the output before. And everything's ready. We're going to actuate the machine. Okay. And as we expect, we get a stretched zone ball. Again, the zone colors, well, actually, these aren't zone colors. These are not zone directions. These are purple and orange, whatever that is. But they do tell us something. They tell us that we've still stretched along that same red axis. That's important. We can notice other things about this object. All of the rectangles, well, some of them are still rectangles, although they're now different colors. Some of them are actually parallelograms. So this is a characteristic of linear transformations. Parallel lines remain parallel lines, but angles can be changed. There's another aspect of the linear transformations that's important, and that's preserving ratios. To show you that, I'm going to show you one of these pentagons, but zoomed in. So I've constructed a large version of that pentagon. So in a linear transformation, in a regular pentagon, we always have the characteristic that the side is parallel to the diagonal. That's what happens in a regular pentagon. We also have the characteristic that the length of the side is related to the length of the diagonal by the golden ratio. This is still true in this figure. We have different lengths and different angles, but we preserve those key relationships, the parallel lines and the ratios. Okay. So there's one more thing I want to show you about linear transformations. And to do that, I'm actually going to reconfigure my machine. For the input, I'm going to actually exactly model my purple and orange and blue object. So I'll put that one there. And for the output, I'm going to do something a little odd. I only have 2 struts here. Okay? 2 blue struts at right angles. Let's see what happens. So I will put this in. And we will actuate the machine. Oh, thank you. Stop. We're squashing. That's very good, thank you. Now we can actuate the machine. Okay. That was close. No, I don't know what would happen. Did you guys hear it? You were laughing, but there was a little bit of a warning buzz there. Something's a little wrong here. Oh, and there it is. It's hard to find because it was flattened. So here we have our zone ball again. You can all see it's a zone ball, but now it's what we call a projection or a shadow, right? It's been flattened from 3 dimensions down to 2. It's a very nice object. I like it a lot, but I kind of want my purple and orange one back again. I like that one better. So I'm going to put it back in. I guess we got to put it into stretch. Put it back into stretch mode. And let's actuate the machine one last time to get my good one back. What's wrong? I'll tell you what's wrong. We don't have enough information here. All of our 3-dimensional information about where these balls were in 3-dimensional space is gone except for this plane. That's why this transformation cannot be inverted. It's a non-invertible transformation. So, with the help of Dr. Matrix's magnificent machine here, I have tried to give you sort of the key insights into linear transformations. And in fact, I'll be honest, I went through a whole course in linear algebra in college, and this stuff didn't really come out for me. Right? So hopefully I've given you a head start for those of you who still have linear algebra ahead of you. And I'm going to share one more thing before I go. I have a puzzle for you. In honor of Dr. Matrix, who again was a numerologist, here's the puzzle. I want someone, I have prizes for the first 5 people who can tell me to the hour, minute, and date when I found the notes of Dr. Matrix. I'll tell you some clues. It was on a weekday in the afternoon, a little less than a month ago, and that's it. You can figure it out from there. So, thank you very much.